What's up guys, William James here, and in this video I want to talk about the real reasons why you aren't making sales in Messenger. There's really three main things that are holding you back from making sales on a daily basis using Facebook Messenger, and I want to dive into what those three things are and how you can correct them in this video. So if you're new to the channel, again, my name is William James. I do videos for affiliate marketers, network marketers, course creators, consultants, coaches, anyone looking to start or grow a home-based business. I specialize in free organic Facebook traffic strategies, which I teach in my group, the free Facebook Floodgate. If you're not already a member of the group, there'll be a link below this video where you can join. And yeah, guys, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and please, of course, subscribe to the channel. So with that being said, let's dive right in. The three reasons you aren't making sales in Facebook Messenger. Now, the first one, reason number one, you may have heard before, but I think it's crucial because it's holding back probably 90% of the people that are trying to do this. And that is, you have to stop being emotionally invested in each conversation, in each person, okay? I remember for years I struggled doing this on Facebook, and I had various offers that I would try to promote, and people would tell me, just go talk to people on Facebook Messenger. And I was kind of paralyzed for like years because I was so emotionally tied to that conversation with each person that I basically just got in my own way, messed it all up, and ended up basically never talking to people. You know, after a short period of time, I would kind of give up because it was so emotionally daunting. And there's a few things that go into this problem. First thing is, if you are like thinking that every single person that you're going to talk to is, you know, potentially judging you or something, or like, you know, when you go into each conversation with the person, you're worried that they're gonna like ask you some question that you can't answer, or, you know, say something that's not very nice, or like your feelings are on the line, or they're gonna ask you how much money you make and you haven't made any money and you're all freaked out or something. Stop. The first thing that you have to understand is that people, these are strangers on Facebook we're talking about, right? These are not people you know. And there are millions and millions and millions and millions of them. And the sooner you learn this, the better. That if anyone says anything you don't like, just unfriend them and block them, and you will never see them again, ever. So there's just no reason. I guess at a certain point, you just have to do this enough, and then you start to realize, like, oh, this doesn't matter. It's not that the people don't matter. I mean, they're human beings. Like, I don't want to say, like, people don't matter, but in this context, it doesn't matter. Like, if somebody's a jerk, or somebody is skeptical or what, I just unfriend them and block them. I don't care. So you have to not care what people think of you, right? You have to not care about being judged. You have to not care, right? Oftentimes the worst that'll happen is they just won't reply. So get over that, okay? Now the next thing is like, so that problem with that is that if people are like emotionally, they get nervous when they're talking to people on Facebook, then eventually you'll just stop doing it, right? And I think that's where most people are, is they don't know what to say. They're afraid the person's going to judge them. They've never really gotten any good results at it. And every time they try to talk to someone, they just feel like nervous. They're like, oh God, now I have to sell the person something, and they like freak out. And so then they basically just stop ever messaging anybody. That's, I think, what's happening for 90% of the people trying to do this, because that was what was happening for me. So the next thing is, like, if you do get into a conversation with somebody, you have to not be needy. Like, you have to genuinely not care if they're going to buy from you or not. And so stop sort of like trying to convince people and go for the sale. And if they're skeptical or whatever, then you try to convince them. It's like, no. A lot of this also, guys, comes down to, if you're constantly trying to think of new things to say to people in Messenger based on that person and the vibe you're getting from that person, you're going to get far too emotionally tied into that conversation. It's much, much easier to generate leads using copy and paste messages. And I know people are like, don't ever copy and paste, but from an emotional standpoint, especially when you're new, you want to have like copy paste messages that you can just bang out and send out 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 messages, all exactly the same. And so that that kind of helps to emotionally disengage you from each conversation, because it's just the same. You're just sending out the same thing, the same intro message. They reply, you send the same thing back, right? And what this also does, guys, is it allows you to generate leads fairly easily, because if you've got a good lead generation message that you can send out to get somebody interested in knowing more about something, and you can send that out right away, then you don't have to waste all this time like asking about their kids and the weather and like trying to get into this whole kind. And then it's like they start to feel like your friend, and then you feel bad asking them about like business and seeing if they want to buy something, and it's like it's a whole mess that you can get into with people. Whereas if you just keep it to copy and paste messages, you can generate leads very easily and not have to like get worried about it. Okay. That's for lead generation. Now, obviously, if you're selling something, especially something that's like higher ticket or more complicated to explain or whatever, you want to like wait till people are interested, and then you go through a more in-depth sales process of actually talking to them. And I'm not at all saying that copy and paste messages are all you need to do on Messenger. Certainly, you can get into like actual sales on Messenger and how to do that, how to have a proper sales conversation with someone and close a sale on Messenger. That's a more involved thing, which I teach to my coaching clients and the people who get into my higher ticket courses. If you're interested in working with me on that sort of stuff, by the way, I'll have a link below where you can fill out a little survey and we can have a conversation about whether working together might be something that would help you. But point is, like, you can get into all that sales stuff, but I'm just talking about like initial lead generation conversations with people should be copy and paste. Okay. All right. So that's reason number one, is emotional involvement. Stop being so emotionally invested in the conversation. The second thing, out of the three, there's three things I want to talk about. The second thing that's holding you back from making sales on Facebook Messenger is that people don't trust you, guys. That is a key, I would say probably the key thing about marketing, is that people think that your job is to sell stuff as a marketer. That's not your job. Your job is to get people to trust you. That should be 90% of the work that you do, should be getting people to trust you. Okay. Now, think about this. If you get a message from somebody, you don't know who they are, and they're trying to pitch you on some opportunity, and you've never worked with them, and they're asking you for $1,000 or something, what's the chances that you're ever gonna like pay attention to that person? None. Why? Not because it's a bad offer necessarily, because you don't know that person, right? Whereas the person whose YouTube videos you've been watching for 6 months, who every email you open, every time they post on Facebook, you read, you're in their Facebook group, you follow everything they do, you've watched all their videos, right? You feel like you know that person. You know, like, and trust them. And so they come to you and they're seeing if you're interested in $1,000 offer that they've got. You're going to be much, much more likely to be interested and take a look at it and probably buy it because you know, like, and trust that person, right? That is like 90% of business. It's just getting people to know, like, and trust you. Now, there's a lot that goes into that, okay? I could tell you that it's easy, but it's not that it's hard, but there's a lot of different things that go into getting people to know, like, and trust you, all right? Again, I work with this, like a lot of what I teach with my clients, my coaching clients, and the people in my courses is how to do this stuff, how to get people to know, like, and trust you, because it's quite it's very important, and it can be fairly there's a lot of different components that go into it. All right, it's not hard, it's not complicated. You don't have to be an expert, you don't have to be a genius, but there's just different moving parts that you have to kind of know about and put together in order to get the effect that you want of people trusting you. Yeah. So again, if you want to work on that, there'll be a link below where you can find out more about how we can work together on that. Okay. So the third thing is that you aren't generating curiosity. Okay. Now this is super important. You're not generating curiosity in your messages. So when you're talking to people on Messenger, this is like my biggest pet peeve about Facebook marketing and how people do this. I get messages all the time saying, "Hey, William, I found this new opportunity. It's really cool. Do you want to look at it?" Or, "Hey, I see you're a marketer as well. Would you do me a favor and take a look at my business? Or, just one of these messages like this that's trying to get me to look at something without telling me anything about it. And I don't understand, like, it seems like everyone's doing this. Everyone's teaching this or something. Like, whenever I watch the top network marketing trainers and stuff, all they're ever telling you to do is to go around and message 3,000 people a day and ask them, hey, are you open to taking a look at a new opportunity? And that's just so stupid. From my perspective, like, I don't know. Because everyone is open to looking at an opportunity. You just have to get them curious about it. There's nobody who's like, I will never take any opportunity ever again because I'm not open. Like, nobody thinks that. Of course, everybody's open to looking at something, but it has to be something good, right? The problem is there's 100 billion opportunities out there, and nobody has the time to just look at every single one just because somebody said, hey, you want to look at something, right? We want to look at something if we're interested, if you get us curious. That's how human beings are, okay? So when you're writing messages in Messenger, you've got to say something about whatever it is that you want the person to take a look at to get them interested, right? So I talk about this. I did a video recently for my group about this, about the Facebook Messenger formula for easy leads and sales. And if I really focus on having a curiosity hook in your message, like, what is it about the thing that you're trying to get them to look at that's interesting? If it's just like, hey, take a look at my business because it's a business, and if you get into it, if you work at it, you'll make money. Like, that's every business ever. You have to tell me something interesting about it. What's the unique factor about your thing that's going to generate curiosity? And if you can craft a copy-paste message that you just keep in your notepad on your phone or whatever, that has a little, couple of line elevator pitch to pique people's curiosity about whatever your thing is, and you can just send that out 25, 50 times a day, you will get people who are going, that sounds interesting, send me the link, right? You'll get 10, 20 people a day saying, yeah, shoot me the link, show me, what is it? Right? Whereas if you just say, hey, do you want to look at something that I'm doing? Why would they? I mean, maybe they'll say yes, they'll say sure just to be polite, but they're not going to actually look at it, right? I mean, sometimes someone says, hey, would you mind checking out my opportunity or whatever? And I'll go, okay, fine. And they send me to a capture page and I go, oh gosh, it's the same sort of thing, right? Like, I just don't have the motivation to actually go through and watch the 45-minute video that they're sending me to, because I have no idea what the thing is. I don't know. I'm not going to be interested, right? There's nothing, they haven't told me anything to get me actually interested. I'm just looking at it because they asked me to, and I didn't want to be rude. It's not going to work, guys. I mean, it could work if you do it, if you send out 10,000 messages a day, but why? I mean, just it's so inefficient. Instead, just pique people's curiosity about something that's actually cool. Like, you've got to be marketing stuff that's cool, guys. You got to be marketing stuff that's unique and interesting and solves problems and all that stuff, right? But if you do that, you've got a good curiosity hook. You're not emotionally attached to the outcome of the conversation, and you've gotten people to know, like, and trust you through your content and through all the other stuff that you do that goes into that. That's when you start making sales in Messenger, okay? So I hope that can help to kind of get you out of that rut that most of you are probably in, of just not ever really talking to anyone because you don't know how, you're afraid to, you're like scared of communicating because you're afraid people are going to judge you, you don't know what to say, you don't want to push them, you don't want to sell, you don't, right? And so you're just kind of paralyzed. Either that or you're just wasting tons of time messaging people stupid stuff like, would you look at my business, and nobody's buying. We want to get you out of that and get you into a productive mode where you're actually getting leads and getting sales on a daily basis, okay? And I hope this video kind of nudged you in that direction. If you thought it was helpful, give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. And of course, check out the links in the description. There'll be some cool stuff down there. All right, guys. Have a good one. Talk soon. Bye.